I'm sure we've all crossed paths with an enemy that spams a crouch or jump button like a maniac during a gunfight and still manages to lose. In all honesty, I used to be one of these people too when I first came to this game, and I don't want you to look like a clown. So today I'm going to be explaining the proper way to use movement that actually works and the basic fundamentals of how to do it so you can greatly reduce the amount of damage that you take during a gunfight. What's up Shinobi, Kamusta? It's your Sensei Gaming Dojo, and in this video I'm going to be covering proper movement, timing, positioning, and debunking why spamming doesn't actually always work. Now, I never would have had this video idea in the first place if it wasn't for this guy, so I gotta give credit where it's due. Lastly, so you know what to expect throughout this video, I'm gonna be showing the clip normally, then breaking it down. Now, let's get it. For starters, when playing Farlight 84 or any shooting game in general, people have this misconception that if you spam a movement, you can't be touched. Now, this has some truths to it, which is what I'm gonna be covering later in this video, but first I want you to check out this clip. So check this out, I was pulling up on this building and then I noticed that an enemy was reviving their teammate. Side note, it's actually a bad idea to rush downstairs when an enemy is already there because you're literally running into a disadvantage since they can see you before you can see them. But in this situation in particular, I was fortunate enough that Sunil was committed to healing, which cost him his life. But what I want you to mainly focus on in this clip is what Sienna did. So naturally, she's in a desperate situation here where she's already being shot at after coming off a revive. And here's the first example of why crouch spamming doesn't always work. At close range, crouch spamming is the last thing you want to do since it makes it harder for you to hit your shots but easier for your enemy to hit theirs. All I had to do to counter her was stay crouched and shoot her right in her belly button, which makes me hit all of my shots but she missed all of hers. Just remember, at close range, hitting your shots and tracking is far more important than doing crazy movements. Now when it comes to jump spamming, some people just jump up and down, but that does nothing except get you turned to chicken soup when you're going against a better player. But jump spamming side to side like this is how you do it. Movement is something that shouldn't be predictable, and spamming is the most predictable thing you could possibly do. If you see an enemy doing the same movement 2 times in a row, naturally you would assume they're gonna do it for a 3rd time, right? That's because our brain picks up patterns, and once you see something happening again and again, you will subconsciously believe that it's gonna happen again. That's just how our brains work. So you want to surprise your enemy's brain so they can't pick up any patterns whenever you do movement. Now, if you do the same movement twice in a row and you're still not taking much damage because their aim is bad, keep doing it. If something is working, keep doing it. But if it isn't and you're getting turned to tomato paste, just change it the 3rd time and remain unpredictable, if you're still alive by that point. Now, I have to say there isn't a specific movement that will solve all your life's problems, but in Farlight 84, jetpacks are the closest thing to solving all your life's problems, even getting a girlfriend. So if you're moving from one spot to another, the most jetpacks you should use is 1, but 2 max, saving your vertical boost as your life insurance. Now I say this because if you use all 3 of your boosts and then an enemy randomly starts shooting at you, you are at a huge disadvantage. So use your jetpack sparingly, but all of the other movements outside of jetpacks are equally as good depending on the situation that you're in. And honestly, there are times you should mix movements and there are times that you don't even have to use movement to get the job done. It's all situational. But I'm gonna list out all the movements you can do in Farlight 84 and give a general rule of thumb of when you can use each one, just so you know what you're capable of doing. Note how I said general. Sometimes depending on the situation, it may not be best to do that particular movement. Anywho, there's jumping to make quick abrupt movements to get out of the way and make a little space between you and your enemy to make them miss a few shots in the process. Crouching to shrink your hitbox and make you a smaller and harder target to hit. Strafing is the most simple of them all, just keep moving so you're not used as target practice. And jetpacking, the most treasured movement in Farlight 84. It's quick, hard to hit, and puts good space between you and your enemy. So not only do you want to be unpredictable while using different movements, but you also want to use movements to create space and get a better position on the enemy. This way you can shoot them more efficiently and comfortably, which brings us to our next subject. Positioning should be your best friend in any shooting game in general. With good positioning comes good results. So whenever you plan to shoot at an enemy, be sure that you have immediate cover that you can fall back to if shooting them didn't go as planned. So for this example, I'll be using my favorite car. Alright, so I flew in solo and majestically like the superhero that I am, and I tried to hit them with the rear of the car like John Wick, but I missed. Turns out I'm not John Wick. And notice how once I got out of the car, I was on their side and immediately jetpacked up and behind my favorite car to take cover. By doing that, I secured a power position. They're in the open and can't see me, but I know where they are and can see them before they can see me. Otherwise, I would have been turned to Swiss cheese. So Sienna pushes in blindly and I turn her into a McDonald's milkshake. And just before I was about to deliver the finishing blow to the Momoy, my teammate bagged the kill. This is just one way to position yourself by using cover to protect you and block your enemy's sight. For my next power position, I'll be using a rock.
It's a rock!
I noticed that I had a Phantom and Young pushing in hot, so I chose to slow down the Phantom first since she seemed more aggressive. She hit me with a few shots in return and I immediately got right back behind cover, reloaded, and popped the shield. Side note, it's best to have your shield recharger as your primary heal instead of your shield restorer, so in situations like this, it's best to get one shield off rather than none. Phantom was circling around, I got off a solid hound shot and I noticed a Young boosted up, so I had to hurry and take out the Phantom so I could focus on the Young. I jumped for the kill shot on Phantom and boosted to get a better position on the Young and secured the kill. Now, one very important and common mistake that I see people making all the time is going outside of zone because they're kill hungry, and this is literally setting yourself up for failure. So if you're going for a win, don't go out of the zone for some kills. You'll either eventually meet up with your enemy or they'll die to somebody else, so just secure a good spot in the middle of zone and move around from there. Now if you're going for clips, it looks cool to be fighting outside of zone and makes the fight more intense, but for any reason other than that, it's just not smart. So just set yourself up for success, guys. Now for the most important tip of them all. Without timing, everything else I've said to you up until this point is completely useless. So Dojo, why is timing so important? Well, since you asked, a well-timed basic attack will beat a poorly timed ultimate attack every time. Alright, so I'm about to show y'all two clips in action and break them down so you can see how good timing saved my life. Here I have a Sienna and Maggie who are both good players pushing me at the same time. I know that taking them both on at the same time is certain death, so I need to get them both close enough so I can boost away at the last second, which would make it harder for them to chase me. Now I'm looking for the opportunity to take out Sienna. I crack her shield, but don't push her immediately because I have to weaken the Maggie first so she can stay back. This got me a small window of push time to take out the Sienna before Maggie would come back to fight me. I hurried to push the Sienna, but she had more health than I thought she would, which cost me some time. So Sienna, Maggie, and the third party all took a bite out of my health. I had to hurry and kill the Sienna to take her shield and get away and heal, since fighting a good Maggie with low health is a death sentence. I've recently added a new channel on my Discord server called Play with Dojo, and as the name implies, I'm opening the gates for you to play with your sensei. For now, I'm only doing it for this season to see how it goes, and since I'm grinding Cypher leaderboards, I thought it would be cool to get y'all some dubs in the process. I'm actually going to be explaining this more in depth in my next video, so be sure to subscribe if you're interested, and until next time, this is the way of the dojo. Peace.